So, as I said, the content of the lectures are soil pollution and marine pollution. So, what is soil pollution? It may be defined as the contaminations of soil by human and natural activities which may cause harmful effect on living beings. Basically, soil pollution is nothing but the contamination of the soil. So, pollution is nothing but the problem that creates. Okay, that the pollution is nothing but the pollutant that pollutes. They call the pollution. So, the contamination of soil and what causes the contamination is by human and the natural activities. Basically, when the human creates a problem, a human creates a contamination over the soil, that creates the soil pollution, and that causes a harmful effects on the living being. Living being is nothing but human being, animals, plants, all those things. So you know that India is a country for agriculture, and our backbone is the farmers. Farmers are the backbone of India, right? Agriculture is the backbone. So likewise, as I said, soil is very important because we always depend on soil. You know that agriculture is the major thing because every country they they go with agriculture because without food nobody can survive. So food is very important in all perspectives, and because of that, as a human we need food to eat. We cannot eat the money, or we cannot eat something else. We cannot go for the meat alone. So we need food. So, what if this soil gets contaminated, and what if the soil has been polluted? So, it is highly difficult for the fertilization. That causes a great problem in the soil, where in which the fertility as well as the minerals that presents in the soil will be totally eradicated. So, that creates a major problem. So, as a human, we have to look into those things. As we know that we are humans, we go for the technology and we go for a fast moving life. We are not really cared about the soil. We always go for the results. We want the result, but we don't put the input. And what happens is we are going everywhere and we are throwing the garbages, we are throwing the dust everywhere. We are not having a guilt for throwing those dust in the soil. There are garbages, there have been garbage cans provided by the government, but we are not throwing them in that area. We are just having a lethargic way, so that we are causing the soil pollution. So the next picture shows that, see how it happens. The soil has been totally, it's been like, you can see there's so much of cracks in the soil, and the pollution process. That shows the importance wherein which soil has been polluted. Because once the soil has been polluted, and it's very difficult that growing of trees, of growing of agriculture is very difficult. It's very hard. So uh, what we reap, right? So that's a problem. So what we sow is what we reap. And if we are sowing something and we are not reaping anything, there is no use, right? So if the soil is not giving its full result, it's because we are not protecting the soil, and we are not keeping the soil in a proper way. We are not maintaining the soil. So that itself creates a major problem. So we need to look into those things, and we should take care of those things. And that is very important, so that we as a citizen, we have to take care and we have to look into those things. So you could see those things. What is the problem that a human is creating? See, we are putting all the garbages in the roadside areas, in the soil, and when you are putting the garbages on the dustbins, and because of that, what happens is the soil is absorbing those waste things, and because of that, the fertility of the minerals content, the presence in the soil has been totally demolished, and it's totally been eradicated. And we as an citizen, we have to look forward that whenever we see any trash things on the road, we have to take it and we have to put it in the bins, because once if it stays for there for a particular period of time, when the rain comes, it will go inside the soil, and it will create, I mean, it will harm the soil. And because of that, humans are the most they will affect. And you know what, recycle and reuse. So that is a very important thing. So we will see that. So first one is the pressure or on intensification of farm activities increase for two reasons. So the farm activities is the most important things. People, that's a thing. So intensification of pressure, the farm, burning of the farms and all those things we have to reduce, because that also eradicates the minerals content. Since the population growth, proper dumping of unwanted materials. So we have to properly dump those unwanted materials. So wherever it is required, we have to dump it. So if it's a liquid waste, we have to put it in the liquid waste bin. If it's solid waste, you have to put it in the solid waste bin. And we have to look all those things. We have to take it a serious action so that we can go there, we can control this soil pollution. Production of natural fertilizers, because you know what, in agriculture nowadays people use so much of artificial fertilizers for the eradicating of the pesticides. Because of that, you know what happens is they want to kill these insects and all. Because of that, they use enormous amount of chemicals, which is very toxic and which is not used, which is not meant to be used for the agriculture purpose. And because when they use these kind of pesticides, it creates a big problem to the soil. So natural fertilizer is very much important, and proper hygiene condition, that is nothing but whenever we keep our surrounding clean, we will be clean, right? So when we keep our surrounding clean, it always helps for the reduction of soil pollution. So whenever you see a trash, you take it and you put it in the dustbins. So public awareness, that's the most important thing. We should give an awareness to the people, like conducting some seminars or conducting a rally, so that people can understand what the problem is all about. Because when the people is not understanding what is the problem they're facing, because that could lead a problem for the next generation. Might right now we could have escaped, but our next generation might be in a big problem in which the soil is getting totally polluted. And the recycling and reuse is the next important thing, wherein which recycling and reusing is very important, because the plastic that we get can be recycled on a purpose. So if it's a recycling product, means easily we can go down, we can put it in a bin and we can recycle it. If the product that we are creating is not meant to be recycled, and what happens is that creates a problem. And because if it's not been it cannot be recycled, and because of that it should be dumped somewhere else, and that causes a pollution. So I hope you guys understand that. And the next one is the ban of toxic chemicals. As I was talking, it's not only the pesticides or things, even the pharmaceutical things, the pharmacies, I mean, the manufacturing of the drugs. Those people, they dump the expired tablets or medicines in the soil, and that also causes a major pollution, because government has to take care of those things, because if they're dumping it again and again the same area, that also causes a major pollution. So ban of toxic chemical is important. The next one that we're gonna see is marine pollution. So it may be defined as the discharge of waste substances into the sea, resulting in harm to living resources, hazards to human health, hindrance to fishery, and impairment of quality of for use of seawater. So we all know that three-fourths of the planet is being surrounded by water, and you know fishing is the most important job for most of the people in the world. And countries like India and Thailand and other countries which is near to the coastal areas, sea areas, they depend completely on fishing. And you know what? Because of these industries and because of the human activities, these seas are being polluted. And you know what? They're throwing or they're dumping the waste materials in the sea itself. And when this waste discharges, or the waste chemical that comes and mixes in the water, it reduces or it totally eradicates the level of oxygen in the sea. If the oxygen level has been reduced, the living possibilities for the aquatic animals or the aquatic organisms will be totally in a problem. There will be totally in a big problem, because as humans we want oxygen. The same thing like fishes also need oxygen, and in water the oxygen levels are present. If suppose the oxygen level that present in the water is being taken out, it is very hard for the living beings to live in the water. So that is the thing. And the next one, sources of marine pollution is the coastal zones, rich heritage coral reefs, wetlands, and the grassy grasslands. So these things are happens. It's nothing but the layer that forms on the sea. You could see some green layers will be formed on the sea. It's nothing but because of the chemical content that presents in the sea. So when the chemical waste that comes from the factory and mixes in the water, because of the chemical have the compounds, it mixes with the water and it forms a chemical layer that's like a green area. It would be like a sea grass beds, like that, wetlands, the coral reefs, all those things. So it is like an artificial. This is not a natural one. So this is an artificial thing which has been created because of the wastage and dumping of the unwanted things. So the sea grass beds and all, if it forms, means fishes cannot swim inside the water because of the sea grass, but it will grab those things. So it is very difficult for the fishes to swim inside the water. So that is a important thing that we have to see. And as a citizen, we have to really take care because construction of the factories and all should be done outside of the coastal areas, which it should not be. The wastages should be meant to be recycled. They should not just throw the wastages just like that or mix it with the water, because if it's mixed with water, people say that it's three-fourths of the land is filled with water, right? So it's a huge number of water. It doesn't mean that, see, even if it's like if you take a milk and put a drop of poison, the milk is a poison. The same thing happens. It's a big amount of ocean is there, so we put some little amount of chemical waste. What is going to happen? No, that is not the problem. Even it will create a problem. So we should take an awareness, take an initiative in which we should insist the government to take a necessary action, because our aquatic life is very, very important. We depend on fishes for food. We depend on so many things with the sea. And the spillage of oils in the sea, that also creates a pollution. The containers, big containers, the carrots, oils. If something happens in the water, and it also creates a problem. So next we will see a video. So these are the control measures that we can implement. Plans for conserving marine biodiversity must be taken into account of human needs. So plans for conserving marine biodiversity. So that can be initiative, and people should be educated about marine ecosystem and benefits offered by them. Because as the beneficiary, we should have an idea that we are getting benefit out of the water, and we should really take care of the water, because we are only the fish, we are only taking the fishes and we're going to eat and we're going to sell those things, and we are the beneficiary. So what happens is, if we are killing the fish, because we are not having an awareness, and because of that, what happens is we are killing those things. That's a given by God given those things, and we should not kill those things. So as educated people, we should go forward and we should take that, and we should not go and throw those dustbins, dust in the oceans. Everywhere when you go to islands like Andaman, Nicobar Islands or some other islands, they always really care about this pollution thing, because they provide this dustbins everywhere because they don't want to pollute their areas, and still the people are misusing that, and they are not they are throwing all those things in this. And if you take for the foreign countries, there's a rule that if you throw the garbages in the land, you'll be fined. You cannot split in the public place. So that's also an important thing, right? So uh, that kind of enforcement has to be made in our country, so that people take these actions as an serious things, and they will be focusing, they will be following that. So local communities must be involved in protecting and managing their coastal resource. Social and economic incentives must be offered for conserving and sustainable use of marine resources. Government must manage their own water while extending cooperation with neighboring states. So even that, it's not only the marine, that's not only the sea, it's all about the river also. We are polluting our river, and we are getting and we are making water from other states. That should not happen. So we should take care of our own state. We should take care of our nation. That we should protect our marine system, and we should not throw those things. And as I said, that wastages from the factories should be minimal and they should be recycled at any cost. So with that, I would close this with a summary what we have discussed. So we have learnt about what is a pollution and what are the causes for pollution, what are the control measures that we can take for pollutions, and we have also learnt about what is marine pollution, what are the causes for marine pollution, and the control measures for marine pollution. This is the reference book that you can take. So I hope you guys understood the video, and thank you for listening to this video. So we will see the next topic in the next video. Thank you. Have a nice day.